show you how to make a stew that I will be making for the second time this week, but the first time on video. Last time it looked beautiful, and at least this way I have an idea of what I'm doing, but at the very end, when I had finished my stew and I placed this pot on that counter, then I reached in there to get a bowl, dropped it on the floor, glass went everywhere on the floor, but this was on the counter and I threw the whole thing away, and it broke my heart. The reason I made this stew was to use some of the things that I had gotten together to make that 100-calorie movie video. So I'm starting over, and the ingredients are the meatless Boca ground crumbles or the Morningstar Farms version, Swanson vegetable broth, and I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to simmer fry with the broth instead of water. The spices are garlic, and I've already pressed my garlic on top of the butternut squash, which is the starchy part of the meal, and the first thing that's going to go in this pan. And the other is bay leaf, which I'll put in later. And about a quarter cup of diced onion. As I said, butternut squash, about a cup. And what I did was I cut the butternut squash, and here's a piece that was cut from the whole, and then you can peel off the skin like this. So this is raw butternut squash, so that's what I did, and then I chopped it up. I also have about a half a cup of diced fresh tomato. I have a half, maybe 2/3 of a cup of green pepper and yellow squash, because I meant to buy yellow pepper and I bought orange, and I don't want orange pepper when I have orange butternut squash because I'm color. So yellow squash and green peppers in here. And then I have, I don't know, half a cup or less of bulgur and about 1/3 a cup of black beans. So this has warmed up. So what I'm doing differently this time, don't you burn on me, darn it. I know you guys are probably like, I wonder if she'll remember before she burns the pan this time. As I was saying, so I'm going to simmer fry first. Butternut squash is going to go in here. And when I wrote my little list here, I wrote down 1, 2, and 3. So which ingredients need to cook the longest are the ones. So butternut squash, onions, and peppers are what I wrote. That's from the other day. So butternut squash and the garlic, diced onion, and then, which would have just been peppers, but now it's peppers and yellow squash. And instead of adding a little bit of water and simmering it out like I usually do, I'm going to take this vegetable broth and use it. So even though I'm basically evaporating away my broth, my food's going to absorb the flavor. And I'm not making soup, I'm making stew. So last time I didn't get a chance to taste it before the catastrophe happened, but it smelled really awesome. So this is going to have to go on for 5 or 10 minutes because you want the butternut squash to get soft, because the butternut squash is taking the place of like a potato. So I'm going to keep simmer frying this for 10 to 15 minutes before I add the next ingredients, which I will turn the camera back on for, but the next ingredients will be the Boca crumbles and the tomato. And I'll let them simmer for quite a while again, and I'll add the bay leaf. In the very end, I'll add the black beans and bulgur because they're already cooked. So this is how you start the stew. And maybe for Christmas I'll get glass cookware and you can actually see what's going on. Or maybe I'll get a cameraman or gal. So this will be simmer frying. It's on medium-high. Don't add the bay leaf just yet. And don't leave your Boca crumbles sitting on the counter. Okay, I probably had this going for at least 15 minutes. And I've almost used the whole can of the broth, and that's why I have water over here. And I went ahead and put my bay leaves in. So if I've been doing this for 15 or 20 minutes. I put the bay leaves in probably at 10 minutes. Now step 2 is the boca crumbles and the tomato. Stir that up good. And now I'm going to add the rest of the broth. And I may add water after because I want it to be stew-like, not like soup. And I'm going to cook it now again. Maybe I'll lower it to a little under medium. And I'm going to let this simmer for 10 minutes. I'm actually going to time myself on this one. And I'll show you when I add these other 2 in and how it should look at the end. And when I made this the other day, the whole pot had about 265 calories, so it would easily serve 2, if not 3 people, because it's filling, but then it's calories good enough for 1 person. But anyways, you get the idea. Of course, while you were away, I started some other projects, but this one is going well, and indeed, it was only 10 minutes. The timer went off and I thought, oh, they'll know if I don't stop right now. That makes no sense. Okay, so I'm pouring in my, did I say it, like a quarter or a third of a cup of black beans already cooked. Cooked them the other day so I could show you how many calories were in them. And about a half a cup of already cooked bulgur. So that's like adding pasta. And originally, the other day, before I dropped it in the, well, didn't drop it in the floor, but had to throw it out, I was going to serve it over baked spaghetti squash. And if I'd have found one at the store today, I would have done the same, but I didn't. You don't have to serve it over anything. And now you only have to cook it a few more minutes. You could serve it with a nice side salad. You could serve it with fresh fruit. You could serve it with these breadsticks I saw at a Publix grocery store that had 20 calories in each stick. So if you served it with 2 of those, you wouldn't be doing much damage there. Or just serve it in a bowl with nothing added, but make sure that you take out the bay leaf. So I'm going to let it simmer a little bit of the broth out, and I did use water as well. And then I will pour it into a glass bowl and show you. But of course I'm going to be very careful. Maybe I should cover it up now so I don't break something in the meantime. But I'm going to show you the finished product in just a couple minutes. And for you will be just a couple seconds. Alrighty then, we have stew. Second time's the charm. And I forgot what I was going to say. It seemed important at the time. But anyways, oh, it was important. I took out the bay leaves already. I had 3 in there and I took them out. So now I'm pouring this nice stew into the glass bowl. Oh look, a piece of the bay leaf broke off. It's on the side of the pan. And watch these and take them out of your dish if you can. So here it is, nice and thick, very colorful. Again, the spices are pretty much the broth, bay leaves, and garlic. Very low calorie, very high protein, and fiber. Awesome meal to fuel just 1 or 2 of you. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see it better. And I hope it tastes good. I haven't tried it yet either.